All right, joining us now is former FEMA Administrator Brock Long. Sir, thank you so much for joining the program this morning. I mean, you have been in it. You have been the person at that podium. You have responded to these kinds of disasters. This one, the language that officials have been using is frankly apocalyptic in terms of the storm surge and other effects. What have you seen so far, and how do you think officials are going to be managing this response?
There's so much to learn from this storm, and I think it's a reminder that every storm is different. They're unique. They attack us in different ways. A couple of things. I think the biggest reminder is that hurricanes are not just coastal events. I mean, here I am, an hour north of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Hickory, North Carolina. I'm in Hickory, and we've been seeing rainfall and high winds since yesterday, flooding in the North Carolina mountains as Helene was well offshore. The other thing that really sticks out to me is that the Tampa Bay, Clearwater area, St. Pete area experienced the highest storm surge since 1993, if my facts are correct on that. And this should be a real wake-up call to that area, and we have to have serious conversations about the culture of preparedness within our citizenry, particularly on the Florida West Coast. But, right now, FEMA has been well ahead of the storm. As Administrator Criswell, has said earlier, they've been pre-deploying teams and equipment, personnel, and capability forward in advance of this storm. So most importantly, what they do is, they're putting urban search and rescue teams strategically located in areas ready to go for the response side. And obviously the mission right now is search and rescue, but that mission will eventually transition over to stabilizing critical infrastructure and life sustainment.
So, sir, when we look at these pictures, and you mentioned the west coast of Florida, what should residents there be thinking about as they are making decisions about their futures, especially if they have to rebuild? I mean, there seem to be serious questions around a changing climate that, insurance companies are seeing it, right? I mean, they're refusing to insure some places in these areas now. It's a real problem for residents across the state of Florida. Do we need to be rethinking how we rebuild in the wake of some of these storms?
Yes, absolutely. I think, one of the problems with the disaster declaration process that Congress needs to rethink is how do we build in incentives for states and communities that do the right thing? And what I mean by that is states that are well advanced in land use planning, implementing the latest International Code Council building code standards, properly insuring their infrastructure if it's insurable. Those communities, in my opinion, should be rewarded for doing the right thing as we face a changing climate and future hazards, unknown hazards in the future. We've really got to have that understanding with Congress and start to build in those incentives. I don't blame the insurance companies for moving out. We have to invite the insurance companies back to the table and figure out how to buy down risk, in the future, and figure out a model that works. Right now, one of the biggest problems with FEMA's ability to operate and fully execute its mission is that they're constantly having to operate off of disaster supplementals into the disaster relief fund. And so for 3 months, unfortunately, FEMA has been forced to implement what's called immediate needs funding, which means they can only really spend money on life safety missions. They can't actually execute long-term mitigation and long-term recovery missions. And so when you look back since 1992, a third of FEMA's disaster relief funding has come in the form of disaster supplementals. One, we've got to remove the politics away from FEMA and out of the disaster process, and we've got to come up with a more consistent funding process. And then again, one of the things that I'm most proud of, and when I was in office, is we passed the Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities, program. We were able to get that program up and running to really start, having an honest conversation about what's got to be mitigated in the future, so that we don't see our infrastructure going down as easily.
All right, Brock Long for us this morning, former FEMA administrator. Sir, thanks very much for being on the program. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Kasie. Thank you so much.